pretty bad news for Kathy Hochul or Hochul or the Hoots. Very bad news for the Kathy Hochul. Lee Zeldin is at the lead in New York. Trafalgar also predicts that Minnesota will flip red in the governorship. It also predicts that Arizona's governor, Nevada's governorship will flip as well. Which means, I think Arizona already has a Republican governor, Doug Ducey, and they can get a way better governor in Arizona. So, why is New York, of all states, flipping? Because you have states that are way closer than New York that are not flipping. Illinois, Connecticut, Rhode Island. I don't know if Delaware is its governorship going up. But you have states that are way less close that are saying that no governorships are not going to flip. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so New York City in 2020. Okay. Biden won New York by around 23%. Okay. If Lee Zeldin wins the state, okay, that is a 23 shift. That's around a 14-point shift. 11-point shift towards the Republicans. Okay. It is around a 11 to 14-point shift for the Republican. Because, Lee Zeldin's at 48%. He'll probably break with the undecideds. I bet he probably will, or the people who are not voting, basically. But and also you gotta include the Third Party Canada as well. The libertarians of the world, the Green Party that only get like 1% of the vote, 1 to 4% of the vote. That means very well we might see a Republican New York governor. Okay. This is pretty bad news if New York isn't those flips. New York has around 28 electoral votes. And if Lee Zeldin is a good governor and manages to clean up the crime in New York, manages to make the state a better state, manages to make people stay in the state, okay, this will probably change people in New York. And the Democrats don't want to lose a state like New York. They don't want New York to be a Republican state. They want to keep it a Democrat state. They want to keep it a Democrat state because they'll have control. They have control over two of the most populous states. Republicans have the other two, Texas and Florida. Texas is becoming a swing state and Florida is becoming a deep red state. But if Lee Zeldin manages to turn New York red, I don't think it will happen. But again, nobody thought that DeSantis would transform Florida into a solid red state. No one thought he would be. No one thought that Florida would become a solid red state this year. DeSantis is likely going to win Miami-Dade. He is likely going to win Hillsborough County in Florida. And he's winning, counties that are pretty blue. He's looking going to win Duval County, Florida. And if Lee Zeldin is a good governor, unlike, Charlie Baker, the other guy in Vermont, whatever his name is. Okay, so if Lee Zeldin, let's see here, R plus 25 shift. Lee Zeldin wins by around the percentage he wins. Okay. He would win most of the state. He would still lose Tompkins and Albany. He would win, Buffalo and Erie. Well, Buffalo is. He would win. Oh. As well. Yeah. He'd win a lot of these places really easily. This would be pretty bad if Lee Zeldin if Lee Zeldin's a good governor, okay, like the governor of Florida, he could easily change the state. Okay. He can easily change the state if he keeps his promises and he's a good governor. Same thing can be said with Tudor Dixon of Michigan. Same thing can be said if Mastriano wins. Same thing can be said if the guy in Minnesota wins. Say if we say if Wake wins, Ron Teddy wins, Waxalt wins, okay? Because states change all the time. America has changed, states change all the time, okay? And Travolga is also predicting, we can go down here the other polls. They're predicting that Smiley and Murray are basically almost tied. Smiley is closing the gap. Roboto and the other guy who is running in Nevada, just by trends alone, is going to become a Republican state. But Waxhaw and Roboto can literally accelerate Nevada's trends. Okay, can literally accelerate Nevada's trends towards the right. Okay, as well. So if Waxhaw, they're both winning by Waxhaw's winning by a lower margin than Cortez Mosto. So, Christine Drazan, according to Travolga, is expected to win, which is no surprise because you have Betsy Johnson still taking around 30% of the vote. But even then, they're saying that Christine Drazan's still going to win without Betsy Johnson on the ballot. Which means, in Oregon, another safe blue state, they're expected to flip. Which means people had enough with the high crime in New York, with the high crime in Oregon. Democrats are really saying that high crime in New York is a conspiracy theory. Yeah, it's a conspiracy theory. Even though people will see the high crime, and if they live in New York, okay, Herschel Walker is probably going to win. It's probably going to run off thanks to Taste for Liberty, the libertarian. The libertarians are as well. Mark Ronchetti is winning in the poll. Travolga is the most accurate. Gretchen Whitmer and Tudor Dixon are basically tied. That's basically that one. Scott Jensen, that's the Republican, is likely going to win in Minnesota. Mostly thanks to the weed parties. Legalize cannabis now and legalize marijuana now. Yeah, those parties are screwing over the Democrats. Yeah, we have here that's like the older ones, but yeah. Travolga even said that not Nevada, Vermont will be within 10. Vermont will be within 10. So Travolga is saying Lee Zeldin is gonna win in New York. And also I have a Twitter, it's the same name as my YouTube channel if you really want to follow it and see my sit posts on Twitter. Since free speech will soon be allowed on Twitter, Elon Musk is taking his time. But again, things come better for the people who wait. That's all I'm gonna say. Things come better to the people who wait. Here. So, I don't think Minnesota's gonna become a red state. But imagine if Republicans win the state. Let's go back to Yatman. Yeah, because governors can completely change the state. People say, whoa. Yeah. And currently these are the Republican states. I'm not going over Nebraska second. These are states that are classified as the Republican strongholds. These are the Republican states. Okay. All the states that voted for Trump. Okay. So let's just say they're mad to make Arizona Republican again. Well, Republican again. And Wisconsin and Nevada, due to trends, become Republican. Imagine if Lee Zeldin is able to transform New York, the New York state culture, because liberals are going to start leaving New York. Okay? I don't know where they're going to go. Okay? Because a lot of them, I don't know where they're going to go. They're going to go to Vermont. They're going to go to California. They're going to go to Illinois. The options are getting more and more. If Michigan flips due to trends and Pennsylvania flips, but if Zeldin is able to make New York a red state, okay, even if Texas flips blue, if Lee Zeldin transforms New York into a Republican state, okay, there is no more, the Democrats are done. Even if they flip Texas, even if they flip Arizona, okay, back, okay, With Texas will more, I think Texas will become a toss-up state because of the cities versus the. Well, it's gonna be more. It's gonna. I think Texas it'll be more of turnout. You're gonna have the Rio Grande Valley. You're gonna have places like El Paso, which are trending vastly to the right. Okay, and Houston is also trending to the right as well. But it's really gonna be between Dallas and Austin and San Antonio versus the rest of the state. Okay, and I don't even think that will be even viable because again, I think Texas may have another once. Abbott, I think, is a decent governor. I think he's way better than most of the Democrat governors. But for example, if Lee Zeldin is able to make New York red, okay, this is very bad news for the Democrats. Even if they lose, if the Republicans lose Texas, they'll have New York. They'll have Pennsylvania because Pennsylvania is eventually going to become a Republican state. Michigan is vastly becoming a Republican state. Okay, Wisconsin and Nevada literally are becoming Republican states now. Look at the voter registration of Nevada. Okay, here. Look at the voter registration in Nevada by party. I don't think Wisconsin has registered voters. I think Wisconsin's like one of the few states, but Wisconsin. Okay, look at Nevada. Okay, if Nevada's not becoming Republican state, yeah, it's not becoming a Republican state here. Okay, so like a 2022 voter registration. What's the most recent one? Yeah. Oh, downloaded file. Open receipts. Yeah. Oh, screw you. Yeah. Okay. This is Nevada. Okay. Nevada is 50,000 votes. Republicans in Nevada are around 50,000 votes away from flipping Nevada. Okay. They're 50,000 votes. And of course, this is the whole population of the state. And there's, voting age, obviously. And of course, you have nonpartisan, you have libertarians and stuff. I think these are active voters. Of course, they're not including inactive voters, people who are not old enough to vote. But Nevada is quickly becoming a Republican state. Okay, voter registrations in Nevada, okay, are becoming Republican. There it is. And I think Waxhaw is going to speed this up. Waxhaw's going to speed this up. Look at Florida's voter registration. Yeah. Look at interactive polls here. I wonder when it was the last time they updated the vote in all the states. Yeah, interactive polls goes over, Republican trends. When was the last time they updated it? And they did one for New York, and New York has gained like 100,000 Republicans. Like, of registered Republicans. Yeah. Yeah, at one point flipped, for the GOP and early voting. 8 point swing towards North Carolina. North Carolina is a Republican state as well. It's trending Republican as well. North Carolina is the other one. I don't think North Carolina is going to become blue anytime soon. Obama made the state bluer, but then became redder again. Where is it? Yeah. I always get to search for tweets, but then you're not going to find it. Okay, I actually found you can search it. Okay, so the last time you updated it, New Mexico gained 8,000 points. Most of these states are like, Rhode Island's gained over Republicans. That's funny. We have Florida. Nevada is one of these states, but there was one leader of New York. Look at New York's numbers. 220,000 people trended towards New York. Okay. is the net gain of New York as well. Florida. Florida used to be. Look at Florida. New Jersey is also, Iowa is a red state. I think that's to no one's surprise. Yeah. Like, these are insane gains in these states. And if Lee Zeldin is able to speed up the trend towards the Republican like DeSantis did, okay, because New York is still a big population center. Yeah. Again, these are the Republican states. Currently, these are the current Republican states. Okay. 2024, you can expect to add Nevada and add Wisconsin to the list. Okay. And what to say, Kelly Lake is a good governor, and Tua Dixon and Michigan, Pennsylvania eventually become red states by the end of this decade, alongside Arizona. What matters if Lee Zeldin manages to win. Okay. Of course, we're still around 8 days towards the election, but if Lee Zeldin wins, and of course, he accelerates the trend of New York towards the GOP. New York will become a swing state again, and eventually it will become a red state. Even if Republicans lose the state of Texas or Texas becomes a swing state, Republicans will still win because Lee Zeldin was able to win New York, was able to transform New York, was able to make promises on all of his policies as well. You could also probably say the same thing about Virginia, but we'll wait for Virginia. But this is pretty bad for New York. No, not for New York. For the Democrats, if, it is bad for the New York Democrats, obviously, if Zeldin wins. Because Zeldin can easily start a trend. Okay? Governors can easily trend the state towards a certain direction. Okay? Florida is an example of this. Okay? And if Zeldin uses the DeSantis Youngkin model, which he is using as well, and keeps on his promises like DeSantis did, like Youngkin did, because people just want politicians that just keep the promises. I think that's all people want. People want no crime. People want safe cities. People want safe streets. And all we have to do is compare Miami City with versus Los Angeles. Okay. Miami is becoming a Republican city, and Miami is like mostly Cuban. I think Miami is mostly Cuban, and we have LA, okay, which is basically doesn't get any like really bad city in the world, like Port-au-Prince as well, as Dar es Salaam, Nairobi, Mogadishu, Baghdad. That city in Papua New Guinea, Jakarta, Caracas, that's the capital of Venezuela. Or if I don't think but yeah, if Lee Zeldin is a really good governor, I think New York might trend vastly towards the Republican side. Okay. Yeah. Okay. But even without New York, 256 total electoral votes. Even if Lee Zeldin there isn't a amazing governor like Florida, DeSantis, and there isn't, Kelly Lake or Dixon or Mastriano or Laxalt. Because you have a lot of good governor candidates. I don't know if Mastriano is going to win, but Pennsylvania is going to eventually become a Republican state. Mastriano will only accelerate that trend, obviously. Okay, like DeSantis did. Okay, I think Kelly Lake is going to eventually make Arizona a Republican stronghold. Okay, she is likely going to win. Dixon will probably win. Okay, for example, Dixon went to literal Dearborn, Michigan, and she drew out, her and, other Republicans drew out a massive crowd. The same people who were protesting in the school board, some of the same people showed up. Okay, some of the same people showed up. The people from that school board meeting to protest the books in the school at Dearborn. And you gotten those people and your standard Republicans to show up as well. And that's a good point. And New York, you have the Orthodox Jews, which are mostly Republican. You have you have resulted in like winning Bangladeshi communities and Muslim communities in the state because they're sick of the crime. You have resulted in winning Hispanic, winning Hispanic, gain of Hispanics in the state, gain with white working class in the state. Look at the protest. Look at the when every time AOC shows up, you have people like protesting AOC. New York is trending Republican. New York is not the state it used to be anymore. It's slowly trending towards the Republicans. Rezoning might actually accelerate this. Okay, and if Rezoning wins, okay, which he might, that would be the biggest upset of 2022. Okay, and once we see the Tariq losers in Michigan, that would be or AOC losers, that would be a bigger upset because AOC's just was like 80% Republican Democrat, and she still loses because of her unpopularity in her own district. Or we see a Tariq. Well, the people who are saying vote out with Rashida Tlaib, and of course, let's talk about Ilhan Omar as well. So yeah, and if we keep Texas red and Arizona flips New York, there is nothing. Arizona makes New York a Republican state. There is nothing the Democrats can do. Okay, nothing the Democrats can do. Okay, the Democrats officially lost. They officially became a minority party in America. The Republicans would now control because of course Texas might become a Republican state again because of Hispanic trends as well in the state. And Florida is just going to become a Republican state for freedom-loving people around the country. And New York, if Zeldin becomes like one of the best governors in the country by literally cleaning up the state, well, that's going to be pretty bad for Democrats because they still have California, but California is losing people. Okay? The thing is, Zeldin is hating it with the voters. That's why he might win the state. He might win. New York might vote to the right of Pennsylvania, Michigan. Probably not Nevada, but, might vote to the right of Michigan, Pennsylvania. States that are trending towards the Republicans. States that are trending towards the Republicans. States that are becoming Republican. Okay? And you see this great trend. I think it's probably mostly down to the economy. New York is one of the worst hit countries one of the worst hit states by COVID, one of the worst states hit economically, one of the worst states hit through the Hochul's, wax on crime policies, and you might see an upset of New York as well. Well, and yeah, the midterms are 8 days away, and I'm getting more and more excited about the midterms every day, okay, as well. And also, don't forget that New Hampshire will probably event and then we start voting Republican. Okay? This is very bad for the Democrats. Very bad. Okay? This might be one of the biggest Republican sweeps of all time. Might be on par with 2010. Okay? At this point, at the rate things are going. Okay? At the rate the things are going, we might not have a red wave. We might have a red tsunami. Okay? Not just a red wave. We might have a red tsunami. Okay? And you still have your Democrat states. You have Georgia, which mostly is becoming blue, mostly due to immigration from Chicago. People, mostly, Democrats, because, yeah, mostly people from Chicago and New York and California are moving to Georgia, which flipped the state blue. Even if I think New Hampshire is going to become a Republican state eventually as well. I think that's inevitable as well. I think New Hampshire becoming red state. But if Reed Zeldin's able to flip New York, okay, it's game over for the Democrats. Okay, even if Democrats this is the scenario. I forgot to put in Hawaii, and DC. Even if Democrats somehow manage to flip Texas in an election, and Brexit becomes reality. We might have Republican New York because of Lee Zeldin. That's how big Lee Zeldin's victory might be. I want to say because Youngkin is actually a pretty decent governor, Virginia flips as well. Okay, this would be a map. This could be a 2044 map of the United States of America. That's what I did with this video. Goodbye.